In this video, I'm going to talk you through the top 3 mistakes that artists make when pitching the music for sync licensing and publishing. Now, sync licensing and publishing are really great ways that you can make a good revenue stream with your music. However, they're not the only ways. If you stick around until the end of the video, I've got something that you can download completely free that talks you through all of the different avenues and all of the different ways that you can monetize your music. Okay, so mistake number 1 is not being thorough with your metadata. Now, in my opinion, this is the number 1 way that you can completely mess up your chances of getting a sync deal or onto a music publisher's catalogue. Now, this includes having your ISRCs organized and embedded within your files. This will also require you to use proper file format when pitching your music to sync and publishers. WAV files don't hold metadata. MP3s do, but the problem with MP3s is that they're lossy. AIFF files are not lossy and they do hold metadata. It's also really good practice and very strongly recommended to have extra information in your metadata, including who your song sounds like. So you might sound like Adele, you might sound like Luke Combs, you might sound like All Time Low. But make sure you include that information. Also, make sure that you include keywords that describe the mood of your song. So is it happy? Is it sad? Is it romantic? Is it a breakup song? That makes your song searchable in databases. And also, make sure that you include some contact information in there as well. This is usually an email address and a phone number. So if a supervisor comes across your song, they want to use it, they can easily get in touch with you. If you do all of this, then it makes life extremely easy for music supervisors, and in turn, that makes you a very appealing person to work with. Okay, mistake number 2 is not having a big catalogue of songs. Now, if you only have a few singles, then it's very likely that you will just get ignored by music publishers, or they will ask you to come back when you've got more songs. Now, a good ballpark to aim for before you start reaching out is about an album's worth of songs. So aim for around 10 to 12. And the easiest way to do this is just to create freely. There are opportunities in sync for every genre imaginable, even the super niche or the seemingly weird ones. So create freely, create the music that you want to create and you are inspired by. The only slight exception here is when you're writing lyrics. The problem here is if you're not careful, you can end up pigeonholing your song and massively restricting its sync potential. So imagine you write a dance song and the lyrics are all about being by the beach. Your song very likely won't get used if the scene doesn't fit those specific lyrics. Another example is, imagine if you're a country songwriter and your lyrics talk about driving down a dusty dirt road in an old blue truck. Your song automatically becomes unusable for any scenes that don't include that precise imagery. So yes, write freely, create the music that you want to create. However, when it comes to lyrics, keep them fairly vague and open to interpretation. Write with sync in mind. Okay, mistake number 3 is not having alternate versions ready. Very often, music supervisors will want some element of control over your song so that they can fit it into whatever project they're going to use it for, whether it's film, TV, a commercial, or whatever. Now, one way that you can be proactive with this is by having as many conceivable alternate versions and mixes all done and ready to go from the off. These alternate versions could include an instrumental, an a cappella, a cut down mix, a stripped back mix, an acoustic mix, whatever makes sense for your song. Now, this goes back to the point that if you're working in sync, as an artist, you are providing a service to the music supervisor. And if you can show that you're serious about sync, you've done your research, and you have everything ready and in order, then working with you will be a no-brainer. Now finally, you need to make sure that you've also got stem mixers. Now, some artists and producers get uncomfortable about giving away stem mixers for reasons I'm not going to go into in this video. However, it is par for the course within sync licensing and the publishing world, so it's just something that you would have to get over. The reason that stem mixes are so important is because they need to have that level of control to fit it in whatever project they're using it for, whether it's film, TV, or whatever. They might need to drop the vocals out for a section, or they might want to mute the horns because they're clashing with the dialogue and you can't hear the people speaking clearly. If they've got stem mixers, they can do that very, very easily. So make sure you have mixed stems of drums, bass, guitars, strings, keyboards, horns, lead vocals, backing vocals, and again, whatever else makes sense. Now, all of these alternate versions should be bounced when you do the full version, and they should also have the metadata embedded in each one. And ideally, they need to be stored somewhere that you can get a link. so for example Dropbox or Google Drive. This way, if your song lands, you can very quickly and easily get the music supervisor whatever it is that they need, and you can even do this on the go if you're away from the studio, rather than having to go back, open up old sessions and take a day or more to bounce the versions or whatever it is that they want. Again, you are providing a fast, efficient service. So now you know the top 3 mistakes that artists tend to make when it comes to pitching the music for sync and publishing. And if you've watched this far, then you will know that sync can be an extremely lucrative avenue for artists like you to earn money from your music. However, it's not the only way. To help independent artists understand all of the different avenues that they can make money from the music, I created the Music Monetization Checklist. It's completely free and it gives you an insight into all the different ways that you can create a revenue stream using your music. And if you are serious about doing music full time, or even if you're doing music full time but you want to expand your income, then the best way to do that and the most secure way is to have different avenues, different revenue streams coming in. This guide gives you all of the best different ways that you can do that. It's completely free to download and the link is in the description below. Enjoy.